With me for the next hour here inside the ProCure studios this morning, the editor of New Jersey Monthly Magazine, Ken Schlager, is here. It is time for our New Jersey Monthly, and the November issue is the topic of discussion for this hour. Ken, good morning. Good to see you, and thanks for coming by today.
Good morning. It's good to be here. I've got my my probiotics and my antibiotics. They're having a truce.
They are.
So I'm feeling pretty good.
There's a ceasefire for the next hour. Good. All right, very good. But this, next to the Jersey Shore issue and the fall day trips, this is one of the biggest issues of New Jersey Monthly, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We people ask why you do this every year, and the reason is because people buy it every year. So we know that people are interested in it every year.
But it just changed. You have doctors joining the top docs, and some doctors are maybe retiring and getting out of practice, but the list is always changing, right?
Absolutely. Well, the list is based 100% on a vote by the doctors. We send something like 25,000 ballots by mail at considerable expense to every doctor licensed in New Jersey for at least 5 years.
Okay.
And so naturally there's going to be some churn on the list because it's based on a vote. So some doctors fall off for whatever reasons. They move out of the state or sometimes they combine into other practices, things like that. And new doctors come on every year. So we have this year we have 1,077 doctors on the list, and I forget the exact number, but 150 or so are brand new to the list.
Awesome. That's cool.
And we've also got doctors we've been doing this for 13 years using this methodology. We've got doctors who've been on the list all 13 years, which is great. Pretty impressive achievement.
So I guess if you would maybe you wanted to find out who were the top maybe gastroenterologists, they're the ones that you will poll, and they'll tell you about who they think are the best. So it's why you choose your peers, and it's done that way.
Yeah, well, everybody, all the doctors who are voting, and thousands do vote, can vote in every category.
Okay.
Very few of them vote in every category. They vote in the categories they know. They tend to vote for the doctors that they know of and respect. Mm-hmm. Typically the same doctors that they would refer their patients to. So, I call it referrals on steroids.
I guess that's what it is, right. And when you think about this part of the state and New Brunswick, of course, being the healthcare city, pretty good showing for doctors and professionals in central New Jersey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Many doctors who, for every doctor, we find out their hospital affiliations. They probably have hotel affiliations too, but we find out their hospital affiliations. And there's a lot of, Robert Wood Johnson doctors, a lot of St. Peter's doctors, all the big hospitals.
Excellent.
The Barnabas system and the like. And for everyone, we have their specialty, we have their subspecialties, we have their locations, their multiple locations. We list how many years they've been on the list. So it's a really good reference. It works for people all over the state. It's in the November issue. It's also online at njmonthly.com. You can go there. And the nice thing about looking at it online, and it's free access for anyone on our website at njmonthly.com, the nice thing about looking at the top doctors, as well as the top dentists, we do every year also, is that you can search the database by region, by zone. So, you put in your zip code and you say how many, 25 miles, 50 miles, whatever kind of radius, and you can find the doctors in your area and specialties that you might need. We always advise people, however, that, if you've got a doctor that you really like and you're happy with, and for some reason they're not on the list, they just didn't get the votes, that's no reason to change doctors.
Right.
Yep. And we also tell people that this is meant to be a resource, but not the only resource. So, still referrals from other medical professionals, even referrals from friends and family, is important too. This is just one tool. It's one of sort of a patchwork of things you should be looking at.
Consult your general practitioner,
if
you will. Right.
But it always feels good to see your doctors on this list.
Course,
so it's a sense of confirmation.
It's a prideful thing, of course.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, when it comes to choosing a doctor, you want convenience, first of all, someone close to where you live or where you work. And when you have a doctor that other medical professionals are signing off on, hey, why not? I mean, that's somebody that's worth visiting, of course.
That's really big. And the other thing I want to mention is a lot of people look at it. One of the other things that's in this magazine are a lot of ads for these very same doctors. And I just always like to make it clear to people that the list comes first. I'm responsible for the list. I work with a research company. We come up with the list. We then turn the list over to the marketing department, and they can sell the ads. So we have 1,000 77 doctors on this year's list, 233 of them bought ads. So it's quite clear that there's no actual correspondence between the doctors on the list and the ads.
Right.
They have the option to advertise, but they're on the list first.
The Publishers Clearinghouse. If you don't, whether you buy magazines or not, you still might get the knock on your front door.
But nobody's on the list because they buy an ad, and nobody's not on the list because they didn't buy an ad.
Understood.
The two things function completely separately, and that's not true of every magazine. There are other magazines that do this sort of thing, local magazines, and that's absolutely. We know that it's not true of some of the other magazines where you can see an exact correlation where every doctor who is on some other list. Actually is an advertiser.
Gotcha. I
but
see
there's
that.
really no correlation
and
in our list.
It was really an honor last week. You had a little reception for some of the top docs in this part of the state. You kind of called them for a little kind of mix and mingle and a little get-together. Stage Left Steak in downtown New Brunswick, and I thank you so much for inviting me there. And it was great to have a chance to meet some of the top docs and have a chance to talk with them. But you'll do another one of them for the North Jersey doctors, a little get-together for them too?
Right, yeah. We have that coming up Thanksgiving week at Summit House in Summit, but it was great being at Stage Left Steak and eating those hamburgers.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll
that'll make anybody feel better.
Maybe another one of
My
those.
My probiotics like those.
Exactly. But I was so tempted to stand in the corner and just say, hello, hey, doctor, and just watch everybody turn around. Watch everyone
hey, doc.
Watch everyone turn around like, what? Who's calling me?
We do those top doctors receptions every year, and they're really fun because, the doctors never really get the chance to socialize with each other.
I guess not, right?
Some of them never even meet each other. Some of them knew each other from they went to medical school together,
right,
and haven't seen each other in 20 years. So you see these great reunions and the like, and others, see each other all the time, but passing quickly in the hospital hallways.
Sure.
So it's kind of fun to watch the doctors socialize.
I'm sure a lot of them are referrals and transfer of patient files also, as opposed to actually having a chance to get to know one another.
Yeah.
But really, congratulations to all the doctors who are in this list here, and you, of course, can check it out on the website or in the November issue as well. We'll come back, spend some more time with Ken Schlager. We're going to talk about a particular health issue here in our state, and maybe there's some reasons why this particular procedure is so high in our state. And maybe your doctor, you want to say hello to your doctor or give your doctor a shout, give us a call, 732-545-9282. 748 Jersey Central on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. Ken Schlager is here, editor of New Jersey Monthly Magazine. This is our New Jersey Monthly for November, the November 2018 issue, Top Doctors. And is your doctor on the list? Well, you have to take a look online or pick up a copy of the magazine of New Jersey Monthly. And year after year makes a great gift, doesn't it, Ken, to give someone, and particularly people that live out of state? Hey, how would you like to keep a tabs of what's going on here with a subscription to the magazine, right?
Right. We actually have a lot of subscribers out of state, people who formerly lived in New Jersey, including my sister. I buy her a gift subscription.
Very nice.
She moved up to retired to Vermont.
Gotcha.
And I buy her and her husband a gift subscription.
Very nice. It makes a really great gift idea. C-sections, Ken, in New Jersey are surprisingly high. As a guy who will never have one, do we just grow them big here in Jersey? Why are the rates so high, you think? Is there any medical explanation as to why?
Well, Dr. Barron.
Now that I am a doctor, right?
So one of the things we do in November with our Top Doctors issue is we also make a point of doing some what we think are doing stories about what we think are important health topics in the state. And one of them that we identified is this question of C-sections. It's a dilemma. New Jersey is has one of the highest rates of C-sections in the country. It's in the top 4. I think the only 3 states that do more C-sections than us as of 2016 are Florida, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And this rate has been going up, the rate of C-sections. 1995 figures showed about 22% of New Jersey births were by cesarean. By 2009, it was at a high of 38%, from 22% to 38%. It's gotten a little bit better. And in 2016, the latest figures show 36% of all New Jersey births are by C-section, which is still higher than the national average, which is 31.9%. Nobody quite knows exactly why this is the case in New Jersey. There's fear of malpractice suits, but that's anywhere.
Sure.
There's advanced maternal age. More women having children at an older age means more high-risk births. But again, that's everywhere. And then there are conditions like diabetes, hypertension that contribute to doctors' decisions to suggest C-section. But again, that's everywhere. So nobody's quite sure why New Jersey has this distinction, but they do know that it varies by hospital.
Okay.
So in New Jersey in 2016, the highest in the state had a rate of 42%. Of births by C-section, 42%.
That's a big
and
number.
The lowest was 14%. So there's a big disparity there
There
from
is.
14% to 42. They're looking closely. The medical establishment is looking closely at this and trying to come up with protocols, new protocols. One initiative in the state right now is typically till now, any woman who's had a C-section almost automatically, a subsequent birth is going to be done by C-section. They're
Wow.
looking more closely at that now, and they're trying to encourage vaginal birth in women who've already had a C-section. So that's good. And why is this important? Because C-sections themselves have risks. I mean,
course.
C-sections, of course, are done, to kind of get around risky births, but they themselves, it's an operation, and it has longer recovery time as well.
Of course.
So it's something that the medical community is addressing. There's no standard, acceptable rate. But clearly it's a number that in New Jersey that needs to be looked at and needs to come down.
Yeah, and a shout out to one of our local hospitals, a brand new initiative at St. Peter's in New Brunswick called the Enhanced Recovery After Surgery, the ERAS model. Take a look into that because they're doing some pretty cool things and some interesting things just to kind of minimize the after effects of a C-section and what it means. But for the hospitals that are addressing this, that's great work by you guys. Another thing in the issue, Ken, the November issue, we're seeing these Amazon warehouses pop up like crazy in our state. And I hear that we're out of the running of HQ2. No, we're still in the running for Amazon's HQ2. But regardless of what happens there, the jobs that Amazon has created and the amount of work and people that they've put to work in our state is just incredible. And Amazon is not done building in New Jersey, are they?
Right. And you're exactly right. Before we get angry at Amazon, if they decide not to bring this second headquarters to New Jersey, we should remember what they're doing here, which is quite extraordinary. 5 years ago, there was one Amazon fulfillment center in New Jersey.
Okay.
Today, there are 9. They employ more than 18,000 people, plus they create other jobs around them.
Absolutely.
They're the number 5 employer in New Jersey. They have another fulfillment center opening in 2019, next year, in Burlington. Compare this in New York State, they have 1 center.
Wow.
Pennsylvania has 8. And we have those 9 going up to 10, and then they also have 3 what they call sortation centers, and then another one coming to Robbinsville. So in all, we'll have 14 Amazon facilities here in New Jersey by the end of 2019, employing something like 20,000 people.
I'm glad they're here, but
Yeah.
why here? Just logistically, you think it makes sense, Ken, for Amazon to set up shop in New Jersey because of what we mean to the East Coast?
Yeah, well, they love the Jersey Turnpike.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? 40% of the U.S. population, this is a really interesting figure in our story. The story is called Miles of Isles. 40% of the U.S. population is within a 24-hour drive of New Jersey.
Interesting. Wow.
Think about that.
That's a great number. Yeah.
know?
And I don't have to drive 24
Yeah.
hours to see
and
all
these
those
are,
people.
these are huge facilities. There's 2 facilities in Carteret. There's one in Avenel, Edison, Cranberry. So a lot of it is right here in Central Jersey. The one of the facilities in Carteret, the one that we visited for the story and we photographed, and the pictures.
It's a really cool
The
picture.
pictures are amazing.
Yeah.
Of these vast, because you get to see them. We all have seen these things from the outside, but to see them on the inside,
Yeah.
these cavernous things. And the one in Carteret is 1.1 million square feet, which is
Wow.
bigger than your house and mine combined. Has 10 miles of conveyor belts running. And it has the largest solar panel roof in New Jersey, 22,000 solar panels.
That is awesome.
Covers 30 acres. And these facilities, they're interesting because they combine, robotics, right? The robots are going around picking the products and based on people's orders. But there's also human beings in there.
Yes.
Doing the final sorting and loading and everything, and that's where all those jobs come from. And the human beings, the robots are treated very well, I'm sure, but the human beings are treated well too. And
Yeah.
Amazon is known as a very progressive employer. They provide tuition for people who want to go back to school in certain situations.
And learn a skill that you would leave Amazon to go pursue.
Yeah.
They're fine with that.
Which is really pretty
great.
interesting. So they're really interested in enriching the areas where where they build these facilities. They provide their benefits include 20 weeks of paid maternity and family leave, which is extraordinary, and the starting wage for pickers, the people who help fulfill the orders, is about $15 an hour right now.
Almost double the state
benefits.
minimum wage.
Yeah,
is that remarkable?
Yeah. And they work 10-hour days, 4 days a week, which is a different way to
3-day weekend every week. Not bad.
To look at the work week. So they're doing a lot of interesting stuff right here in New Jersey.
They really are.
We can still keep our fingers crossed that somehow the winds blow the right way and something happens that this HQ2 ends up in New Jersey.
Let's
Newark.
hope so. Yeah.
But they're still a company that's a major part of become a major part of our economy.
And putting a lot of people to work every day, which is great. Like we have this Lighthouse tour, Ken. Why don't you and I organize an Amazon Fulfillment Center tour? We'll start in Teterboro. We'll include lunch on the way, and we'll wind up in Logan Township.
Genius.
And we'll stop at all the Amazon fulfillment centers and look at the stuff.
Genius.
Why don't we do But it's really interesting, and check it out in the issue there. And the pictures are from inside the Carteret Center, right, Ken?
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
The photos are great.
That's really great. 8:09, hour number 3 of Jersey Central on this Monday morning on the New Talk Radio WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey, and we're kind of right in the middle of our New Jersey monthly segment for November with magazine editor Ken Schlager, who was here. And sometime between now and 8:30, we will give you a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Rutgers women's basketball game tomorrow night. Coach Stringer, who has been coaching collegiate basketball since 1970, is going for Win 1000 tomorrow night. So good luck to her. You'll have a chance to be there and maybe witness history in person, live and in person. So your chance to win 4 tickets coming up in just a bit. Ken, before we get back to the current issue, a couple things going on. A photo contest. You recently wrapped up a photo contest where at stake was someone's picture would be the cover of an upcoming issue of New Jersey Monthly, right?
Right, and we've picked our winner. We're not going to say who it is.
Ooh,
we're not going to show the picture here on the radio.
We're not going
to unveil the picture on the radio.
Okay.
But it really is a cool picture. I will give a hint and say that overwhelmingly the single most popular subject among we had over 600 photos entered.
Nice.
Was the Jersey Shore.
Nice, good.
Yeah. And anyway, so that'll be the cover of our December issue.
Okay.
And it was a real success. I mean, all these people, great photos. I mean, that came in. It was
Can't wait to see
really
it.
Incredible, and a real reminder of what a beautiful state it is.
That'll be cool, absolutely. And there's a photo contest that's going on now too, right?
We have another photo contest going on right now. What looks like will be an annual thing of our top dog contest.
Oh, nice.
Where people get to go on our website, njmonthly.com, and submit a photo of their dog. A lot of people this year are submitting photos of like 2 and 3 dogs at the same time.
Okay.
Submitting photos of their dogs, and we'll be picking. Well, we'll actually have a voting panel to select a winner, which will be announced in the new year. But you have till November 30th to go to njmonthly.com/topdog18. To submit your puppy's photo.
Benefits Mount Pleasant Animal Shelter,
That's right?
Great organization.
That's right. Yeah, the part of the you have to pay to submit, and part of and one of the things that you get, whoever submits gets a mock cover of the magazine. We send them a PDF.
That's great.
It's really cool. It says NJ Monthly, and it's got the dog's photo right there in the cover, and then part of the proceeds go towards that Mount Pleasant.
Good organization. And I love the winning picture from last year. We gray goatee guys, Ken, we got to stick together. And your winning dog has kind of a gray goatee thing going on there.
Yeah, and he was a really great dog last year. We were very pleased to honor him. He was a service dog. He does all sorts of cool stuff.
Really awesome. All right, get those pictures in. Let's talk about, you don't really realize New Jersey, of course, so many things happen in history here. Who would have thought that New Jersey, Ken, of all places, would be sort of a hotbed, if you will, for landmark discoveries of fossils? Is that right?
That's right. 180 years ago, a farmer in Haddonfield in southern Jersey was digging around his fields, and he was coming up with some odd bones. He couldn't quite figure out what they were. And he started giving them away to his friends and things like that. So one of them fell into the hands of a guy named William Folke by 1858, so 20 years later. And Folke was a lawyer, but he also had a background as a geologist, and he recognized that this was something unusual. He spoke to the farmer, and they did a dig on his land, and they came up with retrieved most of a skeleton of this dinosaur. It turned out.
Wow!
Right. He identified it as a dinosaur. It was of the species. They named the species Hadrosaurus for Haddonfield, Hadrosaurus folki for Mr. Folki.
Oh, wow.
And they assembled it at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. It's still there. It's 25 feet head to toe. It was the first mounted dinosaur. So for people who've gone to the Museum of Natural History in New York City, that was the first one, came out of South Jersey.
Awesome.
The head was never found. So that he had the whole skeleton.
Foul play.
and the head was never found, and they constructed a head based on what they could figure out from the rest of the, but apparently in later years they decided that the head was too big, but nobody's spending money on creating a new dinosaur head. So
well,
yeah,
it's all about return on investment.
So Hattie,
right?
and if you're ever in downtown Haddonfield, which is a great little town,
spectacular downtown,
great town.
Sure. Yep.
They actually have a little statue there of Hattie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, right.
I was there just a few months ago.
Right on the downtown street. And you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden there's this dinosaur charging at you. But Hattie was actually a plant eater, duck-billed dinosaur. But in 1866 there was another important find near Camden of a Dryptosaurus, I think is how it's pronounced, which is a meat-eating dinosaur, a tyrannosaur. So that was a second major find, and those finds kicked off this era of fossil hunting. Princeton University was big on this. They had this paleontology department, and they had people out collecting bones. Yale University was doing this, so there was a real rivalry there between Princeton and Yale, and so there were digs in South Jersey, but a lot of the digs were out west, and it was a pretty wild time. This was in the late 19th century. They were very competitive, these people who were digging for the bones, and there was like bribery and theft, and dirty tricks were played.
Wow.
So at one point, some of these guys apparently planted bones from different dinosaurs on this one site so that somebody else would dig them up, and then they would, and say that they'd found a new species. And
that's just plain mean.
They would be discredited. So there was a lot of Indiana Jones type stuff.
That's what I'm thinking.
Going on. So one man who was associated with New Jersey named Henry Osborne, and he gathered fossils for Princeton. And he later became the curator at the American Museum of Natural History. He's believed to be the prototype of Indiana Jones. And if you go back and watch the movie, Indiana Jones's childhood is set in Princeton.
That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that completely.
So there's this New Jersey connection even to sort of this fable of Indiana Jones.
Awesome.
Good old New Jersey.
Yeah, check that out. We got much more coming up. Ken, before we get to the exit ramp, a pretty cool event that you said you attended involving a descendant of President Grover Cleveland recently, right?
Right. That was Saturday night.
Okay.
They in Montclair. They held a reenactment of Grover Cleveland's second inaugural.
That's awesome.
1893,
mm-hmm.
right? And portraying Grover Cleveland was George Cleveland, Grover Cleveland's grandson. And it's actually really remarkable. Grover Cleveland was born in 1837 and has a grandson who is 66 years old.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Right there.
Yeah, and actually, so George Cleveland, who lives in New Hampshire, he actually has a younger sister, kid sister.
Wow.
Who's a few years younger than him.
How about that?
And George Cleveland looks remarkably like his grandfather, Grover. Grover, the only president born in New Jersey.
That's right.
And also buried here in New Jersey, in Princeton. And the event was a fundraiser for the Grover Cleveland birthplace in Caldwell, which is a very cool little place, really worth visiting. They do a wonderful job there. It's a very nicely curated little house on Bloomfield Avenue in Caldwell.
Cool.
So this was a fundraiser, and George was there all dressed up in his long tails and top hat.
I love it.
And with Miss New Jersey, the reigning Miss New Jersey, portrayed his wife.
Interesting.
And they stood on the stage, and he took the oath of office, and there was the Montclair Orchestra was there and played "Hail to the Chief."
Wow!
And then they danced a waltz, and
what a fun night!
Yeah, it was really a lot of fun.
Excellent, excellent. All right, to our exit ramp this month, and I think in my house, Ken, it's ceramic cats that dominate my household. For you, a little bit of a different kind of collection, and this is for the exit ramp issue. For this
right.
month.
Well, my wife has never met a holiday that she didn't like to celebrate, but her favorite of all is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And she makes a big Thanksgiving feast every year. We have usually anywhere from 12 to 20 people crammed into our dining room. And so a number of years ago, she decided, this was about 25 years ago, she decided to, she was in a store and she saw a ceramic turkey, a planter, right? It had an opening in the back to put plants in. And she said, well, this would be perfect for the centerpiece. So she bought that turkey. And then that led to her buying another turkey and another ceramic turkey. And they're little, some of them are just like 2-inch tall, like salt shakers, and some of them are as big as 8 inches tall, and really very, very nice looking ceramic turkeys. And suddenly it turned into a collection. And once you have a collection and then people come visit you and they see your collection out, then they start bringing you turkeys. So here we are 25 years later. She has 42 turkeys.
Wow.
42 ceramic turkeys. And the funny thing is, just last night, she said to me, this is the day I want to put the turkeys out. So I went up to the attic and brought down the big plastic container of turkeys, all neatly wrapped up.
Oh, boy.
And we cleared off the mantelpiece, and she put all of her turkeys out on the mantle. And they really display beautifully. And so I did this exit ramp about her about this hobby. It's a wonderful collecting hobby.
You do realize you're making gift giving for the two of you for the next several years very easy.
Please, no more turkeys. There's no more room on the mantle.
Very simple.
But we have turkey platters, we have turkey pitchers, we have turkey decanters. Wild turkey, the liquor, makes a lot of very beautiful, over the years they've made beautiful turkey decanters, to big turkey platters and the like. So we've got all sorts of adjuncts to the ceramic turkey collection. But we have beautiful pictures of my wife's turkeys in the exit ramp, and it was great for me because she's been on me to do this story for about 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
I hear about it. When are you going to do the story on my turkeys? Now I get phone calls all the time from people, to do stories about whatever they do.
Of course.
But after a while, 10 years of my wife asking for this story. So I finally got the story done.
I now have a challenge, you understand.
Yeah. And then her other collection is wooden snowmen.
Oh,
so
okay.
As I say in the piece, after Thanksgiving, the turkeys go back in their boxes, and out come the wooden snowmen.
All right. So 2 gift ideas for the Schlager house there. There you go. That'll wrap it up, Ken. For December, it's going to be the contest winner will be on the cover, the picture that they took. And what's the story? What's kind of the top story for December?
That'll be the big reveal.
Oh, okay.
The big reveal will be
wonderful.
The photo contest.
Okay.
And and plus there'll be a bunch of other stories.
Look forward to it. Thank you for today, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the turkeys.
Oh yeah, I don't eat the ceramic turkeys. My wife cooks a very
just in their
good
presence.
Turkey
Enjoy
stuffing,
it.
the whole thing.